because I've been able to go, okay, this is where I'm struggling. Let me think of provisions or ways I can help myself to function a little bit better in those areas. So it definitely has been helpful. So Erin, yes, me and my husband, we did have a break. So we actually separated at the end of 2020 for about 12 months, 13 months. And then we actually got back together at the end of 2021. So we actually did split. It was kind of like, I guess, you know what they call like that 7-year itch? You know, you get to 7 years in a marriage and like, you just like, ugh. Yeah, basically. So we had a break and then we just toddled our way back to each other, basically. So I hope that's a nice little story. Hi, Vanessa. I hope I've pronounced that right. I have, Vanessa. Do you know what? At the moment, I'm pushing for specialist education, but at the moment, they're really reluctant to let me in. Because they're like, no, his IQ is way too high. Hey, we're not accepting him. And because we're regional, I don't have many options. So we don't have other specific schools. So that's where I'm saying I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I would really like him to do specialist ed, even just for 12 months. So we can kind of integrate him into the classroom and he can kind of get a feel for it. He can have that extra support because they have speeches and OTs at specialist ed. And then like anyway, I'm just looking at maybe writing a letter to the education department to see what I can do. And I've just emphasised to them that I'm not looking at it long term. We are only looking at him participating in special ed just as like a transition for him to build skills that he can then go to mainstream school with. So I'm trying, but they don't always want to listen to me yet because I'm not a professional. Thank you, Amy. What made me want to do the spicy? So that's a really good question. Well, it was actually my husband's idea to join the not safe for work side of the internet. And I kind of thought about it and I just went, you know what? Fuck it, give it a try, why not? I can be quite impulsive like that, to be honest, where I'm just like a little bit of a dopamine chase, like, yeah, that sounds like fun, let's do it. Sometimes that has good consequences, sometimes it has not so good consequences, we'll see. I'm going up. Did I go through privately to get little man diagnosed? No, not his diagnosis. His diagnosis is, most of them we got through a clinical stay in hospital, and we were referred to that stay though by a psychiatrist, but a lot of our diagnoses we got at our stay at Oasis at the Monash Children's. Yeah, Chloe, that's a good question. What's the hardest bit? Oh, I feel like everything has been really hard since probably the kids turned 3. That's kind of when it all started to kind of turn into a big shit show. But I think definitely the hardest thing for me has definitely been the last probably 12 months, I reckon. Because one of the kids hasn't been able to go to school, I had to give up everything. I had to give up my job, because the school kept calling me at like 10 a.m. and being like, you have to come and get him. So I ended up having to resign because like I couldn't just keep saying to my boss, hey, the school's called me, I've got to go. Like probably would have ended up getting fired eventually, or them going like, I can't go home at 10 a.m. every day. Like you're working in a high school, like, or a primary school, like in primary and high school, pretty much doing teaching, like. So it was really difficult, and it's been a big adjustment for me not to be at work, because when I was at work, I had a lot of predictability. So I require my day to have a lot of predictability and sameness because I have autism. And when I was at work, the work that I was doing was a special interest of mine, so it was quite easy to go to work. But second of all, I knew that when I go to work, I got up at this time. You know, I did this at work. We had recess at this time. We had lunch at this time, home times. There was a very big structure, where now here at home, there just is not a lot of predictability and sameness to my day. And it is funny because when people always like to me, like, you do your hair every day or you do your makeup every day. It's like, I do that because I've had to create some kind of predictability and sameness. And for me, that's getting up in the morning every morning and doing the same routine, eating the same breakfast, doing the same workout, you know, doing my hair, doing my makeup. If I didn't have that, I would be in a psych ward. I don't have any other words for it, because I would literally be having so many meltdowns, and I already have a lot of meltdowns and shutdowns, because when you're at home and you're a stay-at-home mum, your day doesn't always have a particular time, and the stay-at-home mums will know that, you know. Sometimes it feels like the four walls are closing in on you. Sometimes you don't even know what time it is or flipping day of the week it is. So there's not a lot of predictability and sameness for me. So it's actually, that's been the hardest thing for me, has been the adjustment of having that safety of work and then having to be at home. I hate it. I don't like it. That's okay, Nick. I would be exactly the same.